Hi, and welcome to section 1.2, Adding Integers Activity Day. So if you were in school today, or whenever we did this, you used your practice and record journal to work with a partner to use integer counters to find -4 plus -3. If you kind of want to review this is what this lesson is for. If you missed the day, then again, this is what this lesson is for, to kind of explain where we came from. So with a partner, we're going to use integer counters to find -4 plus -3. Integer counters, those are the little red discs and little yellow discs. The red discs were negative and the yellow discs were positive. So there's a cool link in the book, and when you get logins, you'll be able to do this too. If you click on the little circle with the holes in it. Oops, I have to change the pointer. So we are subtracting -3, and we are taking start all over again. We are taking -4 and adding -3 to it. So I can use GeoGebra to use the little discs to show how this works. So I'm going to add 4 negative discs. So here's my 4 negative discs. And then I'm going to add 3 more negative discs. 1, 2, 3. I always grabbed the wrong one. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 7 negative discs. So 4 negative discs plus 3 negative discs is equal to -7. So that is activity 1. Well, we can do the same thing to represent, let me make sure that so that is activity 1. Activity 2 is using integer counters to find -3 plus 2. So again, we're going to click on that little guy, and that will bring us up to this. And let me make sure I have it's -3 plus 2. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3. We're going to take 3 negative tiles, and we're going to add 2 positive discs to it. So -3 plus 2. Well, when I have 2 of these, they kind of cross each other out. It's like taking 1 step forward and then taking 1 step back. And so you get back to where you were. So we're going to vote those off the island because they are actually, they negate each other, so they're no longer there. So we're left with a -1 tile. So -3 plus +2 is equal to -1. So that is activity 1 and 2. Activity 3 is slightly different. We're going to use a number line, and actually I can use it down here and show you. So what we did in class was, with a partner, use a number line to find 5 plus a -3. Well, the number line was all blank. So if I start at 0 and I go forward 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then from there I'm going to subtract -3, so I go backwards on the number line, 1, 2, 3, and I am left with +2. So 5 plus a -3 is equal to 2. And that beeping you hear in the background is my eggs, so I'm going to pause you for a moment. All right, now we're going to go on to activity 4. And so I'm going to turn the page. This is all in your textbook if you want to review it. And activity 4 is talking about adding integers with different signs. So you're going to go through this table, and you're going to start with -4 plus -3, and those are integers with the same sign, so the type of sum. The sum, which is what it equals, so -4 plus a -3 would be -7, and the sum is negative in this case. So for this one, it would be -3 plus 2, so it's integers with different signs, and the sum is -1. And the sum, of course, is negative. So if you go through this entire table and figure out what all of those different results are, you can take a pause in the video and go and do that. So welcome back. So now, what is your answer? So this is talking about what happens if the sum of two integers is positive, negative, or 0. That's what these questions are, 16 and 17. And what this is trying to get you to think about is what happens if two numbers, your two sums, are negative. So adding a negative plus another negative. The answer is negative. If you add a number like 7 and then you add its opposite, and we'll talk more about that in the lesson, so it'd be negative 7, the answer is 0. So that's how you get 0. So you take the positive of a number and add it to the negative of a number and you end up with 0. So now the big question is, well, what happens when you have a positive number and a negative number? And I kind of want you to think about that for a little while. How do you know whether or not the result is going to be positive or negative? So pause the video and think about that. Well, welcome back. So it turns out, and we'll talk a lot more about it when we do the lesson, it turns out that if the absolute value of each of these numbers, if the larger absolute value is positive, then your answer is going to be positive. If the larger absolute value is negative, or if the number that has the larger absolute value, if the original number is negative, then it turns out your answer is negative. And again, we'll talk more about that in the lesson. Well, I'll see you in the next video.